Okay, so this is video 7 for latitude and longitude. So what we're going to do now is we are going to work towards creating coordinate pairs using the combined latitude and longitude systems. So really quick, looking at the two diagrams, we have the latitude system on the left and the longitude system on the right. So just remembering our rules of isolines is any point on a line is going to have the same value. Any point between two lines has got to be inferred between the value of those two lines. So as we move forward, what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to use the parallels, the lines of latitude, and the meridians, the lines of longitude, to both observe and infer a particular location. So again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to combine these two diagrams together. So now we have a grid, just like we do in math with X and Y axes. And I'll put some numbers on here. So there we go. We have some numbers helping us identify the value of the lines. The interval on this diagram is 15 degrees, just like what we did on our diagrams. I choose an interval of 15 degrees because it gives us enough lines that we can play with, that we can move around on the globe, but it's not too many lines that we had to draw. Obviously, there's a lot more lines. If we wanted to be specific, we could go literally 90 lines of latitude, 90 parallels, or even more if we wanted to get into decimals. We could do the same thing with meridians. We could have 180 meridians on both sides. And of course, we could have even more if we wanted to go into decimals, even into smaller. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take this combined system of latitude and longitude, and we are going to put together some coordinate pairs. So I have created 4 locations on the globe. And what I want you to do is I would like you to go through and build a coordinate pair for each one. You can do this. You can figure out how you want to do this. You can pause it at each step. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through and do one at a time. And I'm going to explain how I did each one. So you can stop now and do coordinate pairs for all 4, or you can stop now, pause, and do a coordinate pair for point A. All right, so whatever you're going to do it now. Pause and either do all 4 coordinate pairs or do a coordinate pair for just location A. Okay, so welcome back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through using latitude parallels and longitude meridians to determine a coordinate pair for location A. So in math class, we think of a coordinate pair as in parentheses with a comma, and we usually have an X and a Y. Now, in latitude and longitude, instead of an X and a Y, we're going to put the latitude first. That's important. It always has to go first. So latitude first, and then longitude. And they go in alphabetical order. So we have LA and then LO. So we always put latitude first. That's a key idea of the whole process. All right, so I've got to figure out my latitude. So I'm going to walk through the different things we know about latitude. So I know that the equator is a line of latitude, and I remember latitude, flatitude, and I remember the ladder. The ladder lets me look at the flat lines and measure up and down. So the first thing I want to do to figure out the latitude of point A is remember that the equator is the line that runs right across the middle. And I have to choose whether I'm not going up or down from the equator. So in this case, I'm going to be going up. So I know that my latitude is north. So I'm going to put the direction in there right away. So the interval of these lines is 15. So that right there is going to be 15 degrees north. And then this line here will be 30 degrees north. So the latitude for point A is going to be 30 degrees north. All right, so I'm done with latitude. Now I've got to do longitude. So I'm going to erase all this, so it's out of my way. All right, so to do longitude, I need to use the prime meridian. So the prime meridian on this map is labeled 0 right here. So the prime meridian is this line. You always have to be careful to take note of where the prime meridian is. It doesn't have to be in the middle of the map. So there's the prime meridian. And remember, we are the world. So this is the west side over on the left, and this is the east side over on the right. Okay, so that means that I've got to go this direction to get to A. So I'm going east. So my direction for point A is going to be east. So again, I have to count my lines. So my first line here, this is going to be 15 degrees because that's the interval, and that's going to be 50. And then I go to the second block, and that's going to be 30 degrees east. So my longitude for point A, my measurement away from the prime meridian, is going to be 30 degrees east. And that's it. That's the answer for point A. All right, so I'm going to erase this. If you have already done the coordinate pairs for the others, go ahead and continue the video. If not, pause now and do a coordinate pair for location B. All right, so I'm going to erase all this. Whoops. Don't want to do that yet. Got to figure out how to erase. Okay, clean slate. All right. So that works a little bit different than Cami. All right, so this one I'm going to do location B. So it does it exactly the same way, always the same way. I can think of it as a coordinate pair. Think of it as a coordinate pair with a comma in the middle. I'm going to do latitude first, and I'm going to do longitude second. Now, you don't need the parentheses when you write a coordinate pair for latitude and longitude. You do need the comma. So the parentheses are only there to make it feel like it does in math class. On the next couple examples, I'm not going to use the parentheses at all. So with location B, the first thing I have to do is latitude. So latitude, flatitude, flat lines. That means that the equator is my starting point. All right, so do I go north or south from the equator? So I went from the equator and I went down. So that's going to be south. So my direction is south. The next thing I got to do is I got to count how many blocks. So each block is worth 15. So I went down one block. So that is the 15 south parallel. So this is going to be 15 degrees south. Okay, so I'm done with latitude. Now I'm going to do longitude. So erase that. Longitude, I have to use the prime meridian. So again, the prime meridian is the line that runs down from the North Pole to the South Pole through 0. Again, it happens to be in the center on this map. It is not necessarily in the center on any other map. So you have to make sure you find the prime meridian, find where the 0 mark is. All right, so I'm moving this way from the prime meridian. I'm going to remember that we are the world. So B is going to be east from the prime meridian. So my direction is going to be east. All right, so now I count off my blocks. So there's 15, there's 30, and there's 45. So B is at 45 degrees east. All right, so that's the answer. That's the coordinate pair for location B. So I'm going to clean this up and do location C next. All right, so for location C, I'm not gonna do the parentheses and the latitude and longitude. I'm gonna write it nice and clean. So this is the way you would write it for a worksheet or a test. All right, so same process though. The first thing I have to do is alphabetical order. I got to do latitude first. So latitude, flatitude, that reminds me that the equator is the flat line that runs across, and that's my starting place. So there's the equator. I am going up from the equator. So I know that my latitude for location C is going to be something in the north. And so I'm going to count off. So there's 15 degrees right here. And then up here is 30 degrees, and I'm smack in the middle. And so if I figure out what's in the middle between 30 and 15, chances are if you're not doing the math, you're going to come up with something like 22 or 23. Technically, those are decent answers. I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to mathematically figure out that this is from this point to this point is another 15. Half of 15 is 7.5. So if I add 7.5 to 15, I get 22.5 degrees north. All right, so I have my latitude for point C. So I'm going to clean up what I did in my marks, and then I'm going to do longitude. So again, longitude is based on the prime meridian. Prime meridian is the line that goes from the North Pole to the South Pole through the zero. Not very good straight line there, but okay. So I moved in this direction. So I remember what we are the world at the prime meridian. So I moved west from the prime meridian. So my direction is going to be west. And I moved over one block. So one block is 15 degrees. So my longitude will be 15 degrees west. All right, so the coordinate pair for point C should be 22.5 degrees north, 15 degrees west. While I clean this up, go ahead and work on a coordinate pair for point D. All right, so pause if you need more time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do point D, or location D. So first thing I got to do is latitude. So I'm going to figure out where the equator is. The equator is at 0 degrees latitude. Again, these points, these locations, the equator and the prime meridian, they don't need to be in the center of the map. Depending on how the map is constructed, the equator and the prime meridian don't even actually need to be on the map, but it's very helpful to try to figure out where they are. All right, so knowing where the equator is, I recognize that I'm going down from the equator, so my direction for my latitude is going to be south. And I'm moving 15 degrees, 30 degrees, there's 45 degrees. I'm halfway in the middle. So again, half of 15 is 7.5. So if I take 30 from here and I add 7.5, I get 37.5 degrees. So my latitude is going to be 37.5 degrees south. All right, longitude. Clean this up. All right, longitude. Longitude, I'm going to use the prime meridian. And I'm going to use the little clue here from Marley Bull. And I'm going to be moving to the west. And so my direction is going to be west in my coordinate pair. And so I moved over 15 degrees to here, to that line. And then, so this is 15. This right here is 30. I'm halfway in the middle. So if I take 7.5, half of 15, and I add it to the 15 here, I'm going to get 22.5 degrees west. So that is the coordinate pair for point D, or location D. All right, so to review, we're gonna go on to the next step in a moment. To review, to create a coordinate pair, you should identify where the equator is, latitude, flatitude. The equator is a flat line, so figure out where the equator is, and then figure out where the prime meridian is. Prime meridian is also going to be 0. They don't necessarily have to be in the center of the map. They may even be off the map, but figure out where they should be based on the numbers that you do see. Then figure out, did you go north? Did you go south? Did you go west? Did you go east? And then figure out how much based on the interval of the lines, the isolines, the parallels, and the meridians. Okay, so we are done with this part of the PowerPoint. So I'm just going to clean this up, and then I'm going to move on to the next slide. So the next slide is something similar. Here's what you get to do. I'm going to give you 4 coordinate pairs. What I'd like you to do is on each one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say pause. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and find on the globe where the location is for that coordinate pair. And then what will happen is I'll go ahead and then unpause the video and watch what happens. each one of those nice little symbols there with the dots, the letter E with the dot, is going to move into the right place. So you get to predict where the label is going to go. Predict where it's going to go. So use the coordinate pair to figure out where it's going to go. Predict it, put your finger over it, and then unpause the video and watch where it ends up. See if you were right. If you make a mistake, try to figure out what went wrong. I am going to go through and explain each answer as we go. So as we move forward, make sure this makes sense. Okay, so pause the video, figure out where E is going to go. Pause the video. Once you have your location, play the video again and see if you were right. Okay, here we go. Where was location E? So location E was right there. All right, so let's walk through this and see if we can understand why it was there. All right, so the first thing I've got to do is I got to do a latitude of 45 degrees north. So I find the equator, and I know I got to go up, and I got to go up by 45 degrees. So there's 15, there's 30, there's 45. It's also labeled right there. All right, so we know that E's got to be on this parallel. All right, next thing I got to do is my longitude, which is 60 degrees west. So I'm going to get rid of all these marks except for that parallel. So now I'm going to think, okay, well, here's the prime meridian, and I need to go west. So we are the world. I got to go this way from the prime meridian by 60 degrees. So the prime meridian is 0, 15, 30, 45, 60. So that meridian right there, that's the 60 meridian. It's not labeled, but this is where they cross, and that's why location E is there. All right, so I'm going to clean this up. You go ahead and figure out where location F is going to go. All right, so location F. Pause if you need more time, and then play it when you're ready. Okay, so where does location F go? Location F goes right there. All right, so again, walking through this, my latitude is 30 degrees south. Identify the equator. I'm going south, so I'm going to go down. I need 30 degrees, so there's 15 degrees. There's 30 degrees, so that's the parallel that I want to be on. All right, then I need to find my longitude. So I'm going to find the prime meridian. There's the prime meridian. And this time I'm going east. So we are the world. I'm going to be going to the east, and I need to go over one block. So this is the meridian that I want right there. There's my location where they crisscross. And so that's where F is where it is. All right, I'm going to clean this up. Figure out where G is going to be. Oh. I hope you didn't see that. Okay, where's G going to go? If you need more time, pause the video. If not, this is where G goes. All right, I hope you were correct. All right, so this time we have to work inside the isolines. We have to infer the values rather than follow the isolines, but it still works the same way. So we find the equator. I have to go up from the equator. And then I have to go 7.5 degrees north. So this parallel right here is 15. This is 0. 7.5 would be between that. And so this would be the parallel for 7.5 degrees north. All right. So now for longitude. All right, so longitude, I find the prime meridian. Oh. I find the prime meridian right there. And I'm going to go east. So we are the world. I go east. And I'm going to go 22.5. So I'm going to go 15. And then this right here would be 30. So halfway would be 22.5. So my meridian would be halfway in the middle between the 15 and the 30. So again, that's why G is where it is. All right, H. Go ahead and figure out a location for H. Pause if you need more time. Okay, let's see where H goes. H goes right there. All right, so let's walk through it. So the first thing I do is I find the equator. I'm going south from the equator. And so it's on the 15 degrees south in parallel. And then I'm going to figure out where the prime meridian is. So the prime meridian is right here. We are the world. I'm going west from the prime meridian. And so I'm going over 15, 30, and then another half. So this is going to be the meridian right here. And that's going to be the 37.5 degrees west. So that's how I get the answer for H. All right, so I hope you did well on that exercise. What we're going to do next is I'm going to stop the video here just to give you a break. If you need to review this, please do. The next video will be on going in, like zooming in on degrees, being a lot more accurate than what we can do with a 15-degree interval map. So I'm going to stop the video here, and we'll continue on.